Living in a foreign country is always a unique adventure, but nothing compares to the experience of immersing yourself in the local culture. My time in Vietnam was a journey of discovery, filled with rich traditions, vibrant customs, and the warmth of the Vietnamese people. From the bustling streets of Hanoi to the peaceful countryside of Giang, I had the opportunity to live with locals, experiencing their everyday lives up close. It wasn't just about sightseeing or tourist attractions. It was about connecting with people, understanding their way of life, and participating in their traditions. Through shared meals, conversations, and everyday activities, I gained a deeper understanding of what it means to be Vietnamese. This story is a glimpse into my time living with locals in Vietnam and how it changed my perspective on life, culture, and the importance of human connection. The importance of understanding local interactions. When I first moved to Vietnam, I was eager to connect with both locals and fellow expatriates, but soon realized that interactions were not always as straightforward as I had assumed. The first lesson I learned was that communication here, especially in business, could be tricky. In places like Ho Chi Minh City, people were more direct and you could trust about 70–80% of what they said. However, in regions like Hanoi, the approach was different. People often promised more than they could deliver, leading to misunderstandings. At first, this cultural difference frustrated me, but over time, I understood that it wasn't about deception, it was about maintaining face in relationships. As I learned to navigate these subtleties, I realized that listening carefully and always verifying was key. By 2017, I became much better at understanding these cues, helping me build trust and create deeper, more meaningful connections. These experiences taught me to be patient and adaptable, essential traits when living in Vietnam. Navigating language and communication in Vietnam. Language in Vietnam is more than just words. It's a window into the culture and values of its people. Upon my arrival in 2013, I quickly realized that communication went beyond simple phrases. In the South, the word vang meant more than just yes. It was a way to show attentiveness, even if there wasn't a real agreement. In contrast, in the North, words like you or da could sometimes be misleading, signaling politeness rather than true consent. Understanding these subtle differences became crucial for effective interaction. Over the years, I picked up a few phrases, but it wasn't until 2017 that I started grasping the deeper meanings behind local expressions. What I once saw as simple greetings or responses, I now saw as expressions of respect, understanding, and personal connection. Mastering this aspect of communication didn't just help me build stronger relationships. It made me feel more at home in a foreign land where words hold a lot of power, business culture, and trust. One of the most eye-opening lessons I learned while living in Vietnam was the stark difference in business culture between the North and the South. In Ho Chi Minh City, southern Vietnam, I found that people were generally more direct in their communication and decision-making. It was easier to gauge whether someone was being honest, and I could trust about 70–80% of what was said. This straightforwardness was refreshing, especially coming from a Western background where directness is often valued. However, when I traveled to Hanoi, northern Vietnam, I quickly noticed that things worked differently. People in the North tended to overpromise and underdeliver, often making statements to please others or close a deal, but the actual follow-through was less reliable. Over the years, I learned to be cautious and always verify statements in the North. This cultural insight helped me build stronger professional relationships and navigate the business landscape with more confidence and awareness. The evolution of Vietnam's food scene. When I first arrived in Vietnam in 2013, the local food scene was dominated by traditional dishes like pho and banh mi, which were delicious but somewhat limited in variety. However, as years passed, particularly around 2016, I noticed an exciting shift. New influences began to shape the culinary landscape. International cuisines such as Korean, Japanese, and even Italian started to make their mark, particularly in cities like Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. What was once a simple street food culture began to embrace fusion concepts, mixing Vietnamese flavors with global trends. Restaurants offering fine dining such as Omakase and El Gaucho started popping up, offering upscale dining experiences. This evolution wasn't just about fine dining, it also brought a greater appreciation for food quality and presentation. As I traveled across Vietnam, I found that even the simplest dishes, like com tam, broken rice, could now be enjoyed in more sophisticated forms, demonstrating the country's evolving culinary taste. Cultural differences. Living in Vietnam has not only been an educational journey professionally, but also personally. One of the most striking differences I encountered was the cultural distinction between dating and marrying a Vietnamese woman. In my early years in Vietnam, I observed that dating here was quite different from what I was used to back home. The societal expectations were higher and traditional values played a significant role. However, when I met my future wife in 2017, I began to understand the depth of commitment and focus that comes with marriage in Vietnamese culture. Women here, especially after 28, tend to be driven, educated, and family-oriented, with a strong work ethic and a desire to build a stable future. It's a far cry from the casual dating culture I had witnessed earlier. Marrying a Vietnamese woman, as I did in 2019, brought with it a sense of shared responsibility and growth. The difference between dating and marriage in Vietnam wasn't just about love. It was about building a future together, with a focus on long-term goals and mutual support. Experiencing Vietnam's healthcare system. When I first considered settling in Vietnam, one of my biggest concerns was the healthcare system. Coming from a Western country, I had grown accustomed to certain standards and wasn't sure what to expect. However, after moving in 2013, I soon discovered that Vietnam's healthcare had significantly improved. While the public sector was still developing, private hospitals such as FV Hospital and Han Phu Si International Hospital offered excellent services comparable to what I had experienced abroad. By 2017, I felt confident enough to rely on these facilities for routine checkups and minor issues. For more serious medical concerns, Vietnam's proximity to countries like Thailand and Singapore provided peace of mind, knowing that major surgeries or specialized care could be handled abroad. Having international insurance further ensured I could access top-quality healthcare if needed. Over the years, I came to appreciate the progress Vietnam made in this field. And today, I feel secure in the country's healthcare offerings. Safety in Vietnam. When I first arrived in Vietnam in 2013, I had concerns about safety. Coming from a country with a higher crime rate, I was uncertain about what to expect. However, over the years, I've come to realize that Vietnam is one of the safest places I've lived. Unlike places with widespread gun violence, Vietnam has strict gun control laws, which greatly reduce the risk of violent crime. I began to feel a sense of comfort as I moved around cities like Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi, where petty crimes like pickpocketing were the most common threats. By 2017, I found that the general public was respectful, and the security infrastructure had improved significantly. With residential complexes offering 24/7 security and surveillance, I felt safe even in the most bustling areas. Today, I confidently walk through the streets at night without fear. And I believe that Vietnam offers an environment of safety and peace that many expats seek. Living in Vietnam has been an eye-opening journey, from embracing the culture to navigating the complexities of communication and building meaningful relationships. The changes I've witnessed, from the evolving food scene to the growing sense of safety, have made this country feel like home. Over the years, I've learned that immersing yourself in a new culture is not just about adapting. It's about embracing the differences and finding the beauty in them. Vietnam has not only shaped my personal and professional growth, but has also given me invaluable experiences that I will cherish forever.